Hello everyone, welcome along to the Blood Red channel. We are live with the Debrief. I'm your host of today, Patrick Smith, joined by Theo Squires of the Liverpool Echo, live from Anfield after Liverpool cruised to victory against Aston Villa. A very comprehensive 3-0 win. Goals from Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai, and of course that cash own goal. Theo, a great win for Liverpool, almost unexpected. We were expecting Villa to be a much trickier opposition today. Were they poor or Liverpool just amazing?
I'll say a mixture of the two, really. Like, Liverpool got an early goal, obviously, through Szoboszlai, and that certainly played into their hands. Like we saw against Bournemouth, how Liverpool can be a bit nervy if they start slowly, like they conceded after first couple of minutes in that game. And that was a recurring trend last year. If you start well at Anfield, you've got Liverpool on the ropes straight away. Like, they are a very fragile side. This year, they've got a bit more fighting spirit in them. We've seen them digging deep, from coming from behind, playing with 10 men. And today it was just a step in the right direction again. Like, you think this is a side that didn't have either of their starting centre-backs, technically without a first-choice holding midfielder as well, got McAllister back there, but they were in control from start to finish, aided by that superb opening goal from Dominic Szoboszlai. And it was much more what you expect from a Liverpool side under Jurgen Klopp. Like he said in the embargoed section at his press conference on Friday, he doesn't know what to expect from this team. It is still step one for them. It's new Liverpool. We'll see where it goes. And if this is step one, now the transfer window's closed, now Bram Birch is in, it's a great step. Like, Villa have been brilliant under Unai Emery since he came in, and Liverpool have been burnt by him before, but they were in cruise control today from start to finish. And as much as Villa are a side who are very good on the counter-attack, have got a lot of pace, and this is something that has been a weakness for Liverpool in the past, with so much gaps in behind them, and it's easy to get out of them that way, and not the strongest defence. They cope with it pretty well for the majority, so they can go home happy today. 3-0 win, 3 points, and up to third in the Premier League table. Obviously Arsenal, or maybe United, one of them, obviously that's the evening kickoff, they might be able to knock them down to fourth. But yeah, considering how, you wouldn't say Liverpool have been even at their best so far this season, right, but they're getting the job done, and today it was comfortable for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think even the most optimistic Liverpool fans, seeing those opening fixtures of Chelsea away, obviously Newcastle away, another tough one, and then Aston Villa with the three that you picked out of the first, say, 6 or so games that would have been really tricky. But to come out of all of those, with obviously Bournemouth at home as well, with 10 points is a great place to be heading into this international break, isn't it? I mean, no one could really have expected that one to come. But as you said there, I want to start with Dominic Szoboszlai, because once again, he is Steven Gerrard reincarnate, isn't he? I mean, an unbelievable performance again, and what a finish for that first goal.
Yeah, it was an incredible finish. Like, we had the perfect view from it in the press box, when it leaves his foot and you just see it rise and rise into that corner.
Similar to Thiago's against Porto, isn't it, where it sort of skidded up and went and flew in.
Flight in it. Like, Doyley and I were at Chelsea for the opening day of the season, and we had a similar angle for the Virgil van Dijk effort in the second half, where it sailed just over the crossbar. And this one, you knew that's going in as soon as he hits it. And he's deserved it. Like, we know he's good at shooting. We know he's good from outside the box. And that goal has been coming, even though we're only a few games into his Liverpool career. A nice little slide celebration as well. But his game is more about goals, isn't it? He's so calm and collected. He's so good in possession. He just oozes class. And it was another dominant display from him. As much as Liverpool could have got Jude Bellingham maybe in a different world, or they were in talks for a Mason Mount or all these other midfielders, Szoboszlai sort of came out of nowhere, didn't it, in the summer? But you can be made up that they got that one done. Like, 60 million, it's already looking like a bargain.
Yeah.
He looks like he was made to play for Liverpool Football Club. Like, lesser players than him and better players than him have come in and have struggled to start, and they've taken time to get up to speed. But he's just gone straight into his side, having not played in the Premier League before, not used to the physicality, in part of a brand new midfield. And he looks like he's been there forever. And he's 22. We could get another 8 years out of him here before you even start to consider cashing in on him. Long may it continue.
No, I mean, it is looking like an absolute steal, isn't it? We knew Liverpool were getting that really skillful, fantastic on the ball, number 10, sometimes played on the wing, but the physicality he's brought to the team as well, that box-to-box energy has been missed. And, he's a huge boost to that Liverpool midfield. But, I mean, staying with the midfield then, Theo, how do you think McAllister got on today playing in the six? It was a very, battling performance from him. And then also Curtis Jones, it's nice to see him back starting, and a very competent display from him once again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good to see Curtis Jones back. Like, he's another player who's grown in stature since really getting his chance in the starting 11 towards the second half of last season, or I suppose the final third of last season. And he has been missed when he's had those injuries, and he's had injuries before, and they've kept him out for a while. And they can hold him back and take him time to get up to speed to even get back in the side. So it was good to see him back in the team straight away. And it looked like he hadn't been away. He's just his usual self, pressing midfielders hard, keeping the ball well, like passing it around well, and he's certainly grown with the fact that he's got more responsibility in this team now. Like, he's still a young player, but he's almost the senior one, passing on the baton between the old guard that have just left and the new players coming in. I know you've still got Thiago there, but he's not going to be the first choice every week necessarily when he's back from injury, because we expect him to leave next summer. Jones is that middleman. He's doing another great job. Obviously, when the starting 11 comes in, there's that bit of debate whether is he number 6 or is McAllister number 6. I think we can all be happy that Jones was allowed to be in that more advanced role, because McAllister seems a bit more suited to the defensive one. Villa didn't really threaten him too much. Like, we see sides just press hard and bypass him, and he maybe goes forward a bit too much, but he didn't really get caught into that trap today. He was another player who was good on the ball. He got a few standing ovations for timely tackles at the right moment, and he's another player like Szoboszlai who has just hit the ground running since coming to Liverpool. Like, last Anfield appearance prematurely ended with that red card that shouldn't have been. Today, standing ovation when he gets brought off near the end. It was another good performance from him, and I know it's tough for a Liverpool midfield when it is just being built from scratch, and we've still got Gravenberch to come in. You're not sure where exactly Endo fits into it. If he's first choice, it will just be that squad option. But the signs so far have been good. And if this is step one, as I said earlier, long may it continue. Like, where are they going next? Klopp doesn't know, but he's going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's great watching so far, isn't it? As you say, McAllister absolutely superb today in the 6. I mean, he's fixing quite a few worries Liverpool fans will have in that position. Also, Wataru Endo is hopefully going to get a chance to see him in a game that's normal, because his experience so far in Liverpool shirt, they've all been pretty strange ones and pretty, nonchalant. There's not been much really to take from his performances, has there? Because the situations in the matches have basically been freak ones so far for him. Today, it was basically decided by the time he came on. But let's be back then to the defence, shall we, Theo? Let's talk about Joel Matip and Joe Gomez. Not the two starting centre-halves we're expecting to see this season for Liverpool, but relatively solid display from those two today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think both of them had really good games, really admirable performances. Like, we've seen them as a partnership before last season when they weren't at their best. They were rattled early on. And I think the Wolves game away, where they lost 3-0, that's the one that really stands out in my mind. I mentioned it on podcasts before, where that's the concern about seeing them as a partnership again. And with Joel Matip, I don't think he's necessarily suited to the new Liverpool formation, where he doesn't have the pace of a Konate to cover that right-back position if Trent moves into midfield. But considering they're up against two really quick forwards today, and Watkins and Diaby, and then you had Bailey come on as well, they dealt with it really well. Like, Joe Gomez's pace was obviously really beneficial. Like, he had a couple of moments where he maybe slipped up and gave Villa an opportunity, but more times than not, he used that pace to get back and sniff out danger. He got a few standing ovations as well. Klopp was certainly clapping a few of his tackles and his clearances. And for a player that we know how good Joe Gomez can be on his day, but he is a player that maybe needs a run of games to build confidence again. He's looked lacking confidence so much for the last 18 months, but he's come in against Newcastle and done brilliantly as a substitute, and he's built on that today as a starter. Joel Matip, it's another performance that is so much better than what we were seeing from him last season. A lot of pressure was on these two last year when they were coming into the side in the absence of a Van Dijk or a Konate. I suppose we could argue, well, now we're seeing the benefit of having a stable midfield in front of them. Granted, as I said, it's still without number 6, but you see where all parts of the team are a bit more unified, and it is more what you expect from a Liverpool side under Jurgen Klopp, with that intensity, with those legs, and that identity is back. Then it all just bubbles along smoothly and it comes together well. And hopefully that's something else that can continue. Like, if Konate was still out after the international break, you wouldn't have any qualms with either of these two starting alongside Van Dijk. And if Van Dijk's suspension gets extended, again, you wouldn't have any qualms with them starting alongside a Konate. And then you've got a shout out to Quansah as well. Trent came off injured. He came on at centre-back, and it was another solid substitute performance from him. Talented youngster. Like, we spent all summer going, Liverpool need a centre-back. And I think they do. I think they could do with another senior option. But they have got a very talented one knocking on the door here, who you'd like to think will get more and more opportunities as the season goes on and as the years come on. Like, Matip's out of contract next year. Van Dijk's not getting any younger either. Quansah could be that next one to step into the void.
Yeah, he's looked solid so far, hasn't he, as well? I think Joe Gomez, fair play to him, played very well in that right-back role when he obviously replaced Trent there for 15 minutes or so. I know there wasn't. He looked pretty good in the ball, actually, so maybe all is not doom and gloom. That's a great point you make about the midfield. I think this is the first sort of cohesive and comprehensive we've seen as a midfield unit, hence Liverpool getting a clean sheet, because the individuals have performed really well so far this season. But as a midfield today, I thought they played so well, and Curtis Jones opting out on that left-hand side just, opens up the pitch so much for Liverpool. he's been absolutely fantastic the past month. I think we're seeing a lot more of Curtis Jones. Let's finish off with the attack then, shall we, Theo? Darwin Nunes was, the headline going into the team news today. He's very exciting that he was starting. How do you think he got on today? Because he could have probably come away with a hat-trick, but nonetheless, he's always box office, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the right phrase, isn't it? Box office. He's unlucky here. Like, he hits the post, and he should got a score, but it comes off cash for the own goal. Hits the crossbar with one, and then with us in the press box for that one in the second half, we thought he'd scored when Salah crosses to him, and it's beaten Martinez. Like, from our angle, the goal was gaping, and you see it go past the net. You think, oh, that's in. Everyone's up cheering in the Kop. It's like, oh wait, that's not gone in. You have to take that second look to quite believe it. He probably deserved a goal, and it's more what we expect from Darwin Nunes, a raw performance. But he hassled Villa for as long as he was on the pitch, and he was a nuisance again. And while he didn't get a goal, he at least got his assist, flicking on for Salah's goal in front of the Kop. It's another encouraging step for him. Yeah, he'd like to have scored again, but as long as he's threatening defenders and creating, having chances, then he's a threat for Liverpool, and that's what Jurgen Klopp wants to see. He can certainly feel like he rewarded the faith in starting him today.
No, certainly a threat. He just makes things happen, doesn't he? And also, Mohamed Salah, great performance, great goal. I don't even want to give airtime that could be his last Liverpool performance, because I think it's absolute nonsense. Everyone, check out Theo's Twitter page, because you've got a nice video at the end of him and Klopp, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's still loading at the moment. The Wi-Fi's not the quickest up here. But yeah, he didn't look like a player that had just played his last game at Anfield. Like, there was a little look towards the Kop, but there was no running up to it and, really soaking in. There was no, over-the-top applause or appreciation. Just looks like a player who's still going to be here in 2 weeks' time when the international break resumes. I don't want to jinx anything here, but we'd all be very surprised if Liverpool did decide to let Mohamed Salah go when they aren't in a position to bring in a replacement now. Hopefully, the relationship is going to be very fruitful this season. Personally, I'd like to see him stay beyond next summer as well. If Saudis are going to keep coming for him, but we shall see. We can only take it a season at a time. There's a Premier League. I'm not going to say title up for grabs here. It's Man City already seem like they're running away with that. But Champions League football is there for the taking. If Liverpool can keep up this form, even though we're only in the early days, we know with what the Europa League draw is now, that looks very favourable to get you to the knockout stages. You'd fancy them to see off Leicester here in a couple of weeks' time to progress in the League Cup. And then you've got the FA Cup to look forward to in January as well. Whatever happens with Mohamed Salah, there are trophies here for him to still win, goals for him to still score before he does call time on this fabulous chapter of his career.
Yeah, say it quietly, Theo. That title charge could come out of nowhere. 10 points from those opening 4 games. They're tricky fixtures. You do never know with Liverpool. But everyone, that's enough for the debrief today. Thank you so much for watching along with us here on the Blood Red YouTube channel. Make sure you're sticking around and subscribed, because we'll bring you Jurgen Klopp's press conference as soon as we have it. Theo, you'd best run along to that one, mate. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching along with us here. We'll catch you again soon for the debrief on the Blood Red channel.